Hi. It's been a week since I finished one of my self-discipline challenges. One thing I love about these challenges is that either in the process of them or afterwards, I always get some insights, sometimes not the most pleasant ones, but still, they usually make some things clear for me. And in this video, I wanted to share those insights with you. One thing that usually happens to me after those challenges is a very persistent feeling of dysphoria. Even though the challenges are challenging, they always give me a sense of purpose, something to strive for. Yes, for a month, but my condition during this month is so focused. Feedback loop is also pretty short. It's very different to having some long-term goals. After uploading my last vlog, I was looking forward to all those things I've been limiting myself in, but at some point I just started to feel so dysphoric and so unhappy. And my big realization was that this is my baseline condition. I'm just not a happy person. I wanted to say unfortunately, but I think it is what it is. I've been giving it so much thought, and yes, I do seem some generally happy people. At least they seem this way. And I've always been a little bit envious because, someone who can get so much joy out of reading a book or going for a hike or traveling. Oh, traveling is a different story. Don't get me started. And I always felt like there is something wrong with me because I just don't seem as happy doing all those simple things that some people get so much joy out of. I just realized that my baseline is that I'm just not a happy person. And maybe most people are not. I think that idea of happiness is heavily marketed in movies, happily ever after, and all of that. But are you actually happy as a baseline? I don't think that most people are. For my entire life, I have had these escape mechanisms. For most of my life, it's been food. And that's the primary reason I've been struggling with weight. I feel like at this point of my life, I do have a little bit more control over it than before. Also, I used to use alcohol as my escape mechanism, not to the same extent as food, but I gave up drinking right before moving to Canada, and I haven't been drinking for more than 4 years now. I used to be a smoker. I did smoke for a couple of years, and I haven't been doing that for so long now. But the thing is that I've just been wondering why some people can have control over all these things and some don't. I think I'm just not that happy generally. I have some friends who have been managing to be social drinkers, social smokers, food enjoyers without overeating and having weight struggle. I just never was this person, probably just because I've never been a very happy person. That is what I'm trying to embrace. I think I hit the point of acceptance that I'm just not going to be a different person. This idea of constant happiness, it seems far-fetched to me. I could use living in Canada as a scapegoat because it can feel very lonely here if you didn't move here with family or friends. And winters are so long here, and especially 2 months in March and April when in most of the world, winter is over, but not in Canada. I find myself in a very lonely and unhappy place. But the thing is that so many years ago when I was at school, I heard a phrase that no matter where you go, you're gonna bring yourself with you. And even when I lived in Ukraine long before the war started, I also was an unhappy person. I can't say nothing has changed since then, but I was under impression that maybe if I do change countries at some point, things would change. And again, I had these thoughts long before the war started. After living in another country for some years now, and after observing some people who also came here without family or without friends from Ukraine, I just realized that it's me, It's not the country, not the political climate, well, maybe a little bit of weather, those 2 months. they're not good. You know, some people are going through winter in Canada effortlessly. They even find ways to enjoy those months, and they just don't focus on that much. But I feel like I've always been finding some external reasons why I am the way I am. During last week, I've been in such rut emotionally, and I've been trying to find all those external reasons again. And it hit me that there are no external reasons. It's me. Girl, it's you. You're not a happy person. You're pretty dysphoric, and it's been like that throughout my entire life. I just didn't want to admit it, and I've been finding people, circumstances, places, yada yada yada, to blame on, but I'm the reason why. And that's it. That's it. Also, there is another thing I understood during this week. I will have a 1 week vacation in a couple of weeks, and for a couple of months, I've been like, do I want to go to Toronto, or maybe do I want to go to Vancouver? And I've been thinking and choosing and discussing it with my husband. You know, I still haven't made this decision, and I've just realized that I don't even like traveling. I've just been watching all those people who've been enjoying traveling. They've been feeling so happy going places, exploring places. And I've been pushing myself through traveling for so many years, probably because of fear of missing out. And especially growing up in Ukraine, for most of the years, you would need to get a visa to go to Europe. But since 2018, we had a no visa travel to most European countries. People started to travel more, and I also tried to do that. But in the end of the day, after doing that so many times, I realized that travel is more of a burden for me than a source of enjoyment, especially since we moved to Canada. My husband Stas, he's been socializing with so many people since we moved to Calgary, and he's met people who like to travel. There are some people who've been around Canada already. They flew to Mexico and other places. When you live in Canada, traveling to Europe is not the easiest, not the most affordable way, but if you like traveling, you're still gonna go places. There are so many places to see here. That's what he actually told me after talking to a person who traveled a lot here. He was like, I don't think we like traveling, neither you and me. And it hit me. We don't. We've been doing that just because that's what people do nowadays. When you have a vacation, well, it's not assumed, but like the first thing you think about during a vacation is that you're just gonna go travel somewhere, right? And you know, I don't think I will be going either to Toronto or Vancouver during this short vacation. I still consider going to Mexico or the Dominican Republic in winter, just because winter is so long here. I have to do something about that. Lying on a beach for a week, this is something I still would go for. Maybe if I lived in Europe. In Europe, it's not a luxury to travel. It's very affordable. But especially in Canada, it is so expensive to go anywhere because of the distances. So it just hit me, if traveling was my intrinsic passion, I would be doing that. I think it's just external influence, and it's been like that for years. Maybe I'm just gonna give it up. Maybe my husband and I will be just traveling to a warm country in winter for the sake of mental health. Also, I don't mind traveling when there is some purpose in mind, like seeing some people or meeting some people. After our last trip to France last September, we were traveling from Edmonton. It was such a hassle. First of all, it was so fucking expensive. If we lived in Europe, transportation would be so cheap, but because it's Canada and it's Europe, different continents, it's so not worth it, especially if you're at the point of your life when you're planning to get yourself into a mortgage. I just realized that is probably my focus for the foreseeable future. And I don't want to spend money for traveling. Also, traveling to Europe from Canada implies an awful jet lag. And it's just, unless I actually have something to do out there, I'm not doing that anymore. Every time I check my acquaintances and friend stories and Instagram, people travel all the time, and I just cannot believe that I'm the only person who feels this way. Let me know if you're also like that, if you've been doing that because of FOMO. It's okay to admit it. Anyway, big revelations for me this week were, apart from not being a traveling fan, that most of things I do in life, I do not because they make me happy, but to escape the feeling of unhappiness. Even this vlog, it just distracts my unhappy mind for a very short period of time. The moment I upload the video, I get back to that state again, and maybe that's the reason why I go and make another video. With the self-discipline challenges, I've done them so many times that probably they just give me some short-term sense of purpose, and that's the reason why I will probably be doing them. Please let me know if you're sharing my standpoints, and if you're also not the happiest person. Maybe it's okay not to be happy. Who said that we're supposed to be happy? Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Please subscribe if you'd like to. Bye.